Things really do come full circle, don't they? It's been a while since we've had a video besides FPV stuff, because that's what I've been doing lately. But we haven't really had any Chasing the Wild Wonder documentary videos to show our journey and what we embarked on, because the last video that we left you guys with was that we were going to be going full-time vagabond farming, or farming from the road, basically traveling to different farms and things like that. So we haven't had any updates on that front, and that was a year ago. But as you can see, we're back here at Bell Mountain Ranch, where we started last year, where we filmed that video, and where we started our journey leaving Idaho, going to Tennessee, and doing the whole farming thing. But we have to give you some updates because it's been a long year. So when we set out on the journey, our goal and our mission was to work on as many farms as we can that were doing the biodynamic, permaculture, regenerative type farming, so that we could learn a lot, because that's what we want to do. We want to buy land and we want to homestead and do some permaculture, biodynamic farming. We want to do it in community. We want to have a retreat center type of a thing where people can come and visit and have a retreat and either work on the homestead or, participate in the land in some way. Anyway, I digress. So we set off last year in September, and here it is again, September. Tomorrow's my birthday, September 10th, by the way. Yeah, so we did it as planned. We went to Tennessee. And we got there by just the hair on my chin. And maybe my chin's not a good example because I have lots of hair on my chin. I actually don't even know where that saying came from. Like, what does that even mean, just by the hair on my chin? Like, the long, short version is, to be honest with you guys, and maybe you'll hear more about this in our podcasts if we ever get that going. So when we came back to Idaho, that fall, after leaving the amazing experience that we had down in Dallas, and we came back here for fall, did some hunting, did some soul searching. We already came back with kind of the sense that this valley, this area in Idaho that we've been for the last 10 years is not our home. It doesn't feel like home anymore, and there's nothing really here that we feel is calling us to be a part of. And so we kind of came back with that. And I knew Lacey, Lacey had a business conference to go to in Tennessee. And that was like as far in the future as we could tell, as we could see. And then we had this ambiguous plan of like being able to travel around by working on farms. I knew in my heart of hearts that we weren't supposed to be here. We were supposed to go out on a journey to find answers, find clarity, to find skills and knowledge, to have a little bit of an adventure, an experience of traveling. And honestly, I didn't really know what else. It was kind of just an open book of like, let's go out and do this. And we don't really have a plan. We don't really have any money. And I honestly don't know if we have even enough money to actually get to Tennessee. This is kind of funny. Listen to the podcast because we'll go more into depth. By a miracle, we are able to make it to Tennessee, somehow, some way. The universe, God, inspired someone to give us a gift, a financial gift that literally came on the night where we were at the point of no return, and we didn't have enough money to get to Tennessee, and we didn't have enough money to get back to Idaho. And this might sound really dumb and reckless to people, but it was part of my own spiritual journey, which again, podcast, but it was this leap of faith where I had to, really just see what I believed. Yeah, so miracle comes through. perfect timing, right when we need it. Yeah, we're able to make it to Tennessee. Lacey goes to her conference. And, you know, meanwhile, while she's at her conference, I've already reached out to farms on WWOOF. You know, we signed up for the woofing program to help find farms that we could go work at. Messaged all these farms around Tennessee, focusing on areas that we wanted to go and explore and check out the land. Because, you know, we're like, well, you know, if we're gonna move somewhere, if we're gonna buy land, let's go check out Tennessee. That seems like it would be a great place for farming and, you know, somewhere nice to live, and or Arkansas or Texas, whatever. That was kind of our idea. Is like, as we travel and learn, we're also finding potential places to put down roots and buy land. But anyway, we get over to Tennessee and you know, everything's great, but I'm just not hearing back from any of these farms. Like literally one of them replied, I think, and their reply was just to tell me that they were booked up for like the next couple months or something like that. As the week, we were there for a week, and as the week goes by, you know, we're kind of like, we're spending money on this pretty expensive RV resort that wasn't even really worth the price. And then, you know, none of these farms are working out, so we're kind of like, don't know, we don't really have anything to do or anywhere to go. You know, we can't spend a lot of money because we already just barely have enough. None of these farms are working out. Our friends, Russ and Nellie, that we met in Dallas, that worked with on the Dallas job, they had just moved to Austin like the day after, the day before we left Idaho. So I went for a drive to get propane, and I was just thinking like, God, what are we gonna do? I don't have a plan. Nothing seems to be working out the way I thought it was gonna work out. And, you know, I had this grand, exciting plan. I announced it on YouTube. And now I'm gonna look like an idiot. But anyway, I was just driving and I was like, you know what? I think we should go to Austin. I think, like, you know, I could search all over. Obviously none of the farms were working out in Tennessee. So it was like, okay, we gotta go wider. And I could have did other states, but Austin just came up. It made sense. We knew people there. We had at least some community in our friends, and, you know, so which would be some support, moral support and guidance and advice and whatnot. You know, I got home and I said, Lacey, I have to talk to you because I think we're going back to Texas. And I think before I even said Texas, she's like, well, we're going back to Texas or something. So she already knew. She's like, I already thought about that. And I was like, all right. I mean, it's what makes sense. And so we're like, all right, let's just go. And we'll get there, I think it was like 10, 12 hours away. So 2 pretty long days. So we're like, all right, let's go, let's get up and leave. And, you know, out of that gift that we got, we had just enough to pretty much get us there. Yeah, we had no idea what we were gonna do. I, you know, continued to look for farms. That ended up kind of fading away, that idea, that expectation of working on a farm. And I don't know what it was, but it just didn't work out. And I don't know if I got discouraged and just kind of gave up on the idea because it didn't seem like, you know, anything was working out. And now looking back on it, I realized that while that idea kind of motivated me and got me out, maybe it was that push I needed to just take this leap of faith, and realizing that, like, yeah, that wasn't the right time for that, because I needed to do a lot of work on myself, and we needed to do a lot of work spiritually and mentally and just emotionally and in our relationship. And so little did we know that we were heading in for what they like to call these days a dark winter. So anyway, we kind of went through, you know, what people call a dark night of the soul. Other than that, we did have a great time. There were, you know, great moments. We got to explore Austin and kind of get... What? Filming? Getting me back for all the times I interrupt her videos. So we get to Austin and we surprise our friends, and it was really cool. They had no idea we were coming, and they were just so ecstatic that, you know, they had their friends show up. And it was cool because, you know, they're in a brand new town. They don't know anybody except for Russ's sister, and her husband is there. and then one of his other friends. And so there's, you know, a couple people spread out, but
What are you guys doing here?
yeah, it was cool. It was a cool surprise and really fun to just show up like that. And really just even also to be there for them as they're making this big life transition. You know, it wasn't even really about us, like, oh, we need support, but it's cool to have somebody to, where we're kind of like in this transitional phase of life, and, you know, both of us, and to be able to be there for each other was really awesome. We ended up going back to New Orleans, their hometown, for Thanksgiving, and that was a lot of fun because we got to explore the city, and it was somewhere that none of us have been. Neither Lacey or I or the kids have ever been to New Orleans, so it was really cool to, you know, go explore that city for the first time as a family, and, you know, spend time with our friends in their hometown, and they got to show us around and show us, you know, where they grew up and all that stuff, and meeting a lot of their family. And yeah, it was just a really cool, fun time, and glad we were able to do that. And then we got to spend Christmas with my family, with my mom and my brothers, who live up in Fort Worth, Texas. And so the kids got to hang out with their nanny, and I got to hang out with my mom and my brothers, and it was just, you know, a good time for Christmas. But through that time, you know, we just it was really hard to find work, and we were able to stay at the RV park because I traded them for a lot of content for their website and their social media. You know, that was cool. And then I kind of got this idea, even I could do that. That could be one way that we could enable us to travel, is that if I'm able to trade RV parks for work instead of money, you know, and it's a win-win both ways. And so that idea kind of got thrown out, and I was trying to get some work with a friend, and it just always seemed to get pushed back. It was like, oh yeah, let's film, let's work this day or this day. And then it was like that day would come up and it'd be like, oh, sorry, something came up, I can't make it happen, blah, blah, blah. And so it was like, okay, well, that's not working out very much for some reason. And, you know, the universe just kept throwing up these roadblocks, and it was like, okay, I need to work because we need money, we need to somehow. But then in the back of my mind, you know, my whole thing is like, I quit my career of 10 years or 15 years because, you know, basically filming and doing videos what I did my whole life. And I left that because I was burnt out on it, but it was also that it wasn't getting me anywhere. It was just getting me by. It was getting us by, we were just surviving. And so it was like, in the back of my mind, it was kind of going against everything I believed, you know, to get a job, to just do enough, because it just doesn't get us, it's never gotten us ahead. Never accomplished anything through that. It's just always like pay the bills, barely be able to pay the bills, can't even pay rent. Now how are we gonna buy food? You know, that's kind of been our life for like the last 10 years. And so that's why, cause like, okay, this isn't working. This isn't making me enough money. I need to be able to do something that is gonna build wealth for my family so that we can go out and do the things that we want to do. You know, I don't want to just sit and work and build somebody else's business. I'm going way off on a tangent, but this was part of our winter. This is why we disappeared basically and went off social media for all of last winter. And yeah, I didn't really make any video content. There was a couple of things here and there, but for the most part, we were pretty silent. And that's because we were struggling. We were trying to figure out, like, what are we doing? What do we want out of life? What is the wild wonder that we are chasing? You know, because we keep finding ourselves in this pattern of just go do the safe job. You know, we're scared. We need to survive. We need to eat. We need to pay our rent. We need to have somewhere to stay. We need to pay for the trailer. So there is that side of things, but also at the same time, it's like, what is it doing for us? But also, what is it doing for the world? Like, we talked about, like, Lacey working at a coffee shop. I even applied for a job at this wellness center that I was like, oh, that'd be cool because I do want to learn about, like, you know, I'm into biohacking and wellness and all that stuff. So it'd be cool to work, you know, it was just a front desk position, but it'd be cool to be in that environment and be able to talk to people. And I sent in an application, never heard anything back from them. Yeah, it just seemed like no matter what we tried, things just weren't working. And then we were also just going through I guess it was kind of an identity crisis. And we're just gonna be real raw and honest, because I believe it's just part of the adventure, you know? And just being open. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of tired of all the fakeness online of just like, my life is awesome and I'm traveling everywhere. And it's like, yeah, your life probably is awesome, but ours also sucks in some ways. So, you know, don't just give people this glamorous view of, you know, the lifestyle you have. Like, there's hard work involved, there's suffering, there's, you know, there's the dark side of life. Everybody knows it, but we just don't want to admit it. Well, here I am admitting it. Anyway, we were kind of going through a identity crisis of, like, for me especially, because, you know, it's the last 15 years, I identified myself with my job, with I'm a video guy. I create, you know, cinema. I'm a cinematographer, I'm a director. I create content for businesses to tell their story. You know, that's kind of like who I was. And I did weddings for a while, but it just kind of got old. And then also the fact that it wasn't like getting us anywhere with what we wanted, our goals, our dreams, being able to save up. It just kind of burned me out. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I'm losing my creativity. I'm losing my passion, because I'm doing what I wanted, what I loved to do and what I was passionate about, but I'm using it as a means of survival. And so it's kind of making me bitter a little bit towards it, because it's like, well, you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Like, you were my passion, you were my love, but you're not making me prosperous. So I'm kind of actually all processing this while I'm filming. So, and all that to say, like, I do believe that what we went through, just the lessons and the shadow work that we did internally on our own hearts, on our own minds, and our emotions and our spirits. I don't know if it's anything I could ever explain to anyone, but we did some deep work, and there was some really hard moments during the winter. But, you know, I think we came out of it on the other side. And the other thing was selling the Airstream. That was really hard for me, because on one hand I was over it, and I was like, oh, forget it, like, whatever. Like, we have a trailer now that we were kind of forced into, and like, let's just make the most of that and travel in that, and like, let's just do it now instead of waiting till we get the Airstream done. Because it's like, yeah, you know, even the whole time of filming the Airstream project and working on that was like, I don't know where I'm gonna get the money to put into this, but I'm just gonna go for it. Like, I was so tired of sitting around and waiting for money to come in that I was like, screw it. Like, even if I don't have the money, I'm just gonna get started on what I want, on what my dreams are, because, like, you know, things will work out if they're supposed to work out. So anyway, selling the Airstream was hard because, one, I lost money on it. I couldn't even get back the money. I couldn't even break even. I lost some money on it, so that was hard. But then it was also this, and maybe I just need to go in deeper on the podcast now that I'm talking about it. But yeah, so that was hard for me. And, you know, so there was a lot of big change that happened in our life recently. And it was not easy, you guys. Growing up is hard. There's a lot of growing pains. So anyway, we're back in Idaho. We left Texas because we decided, you know what, I think we're done. I think we're through it. And we were considering staying there for a while. For a couple months, we were like, let's just buy land, let's buy a house here or rent, you know, something to like just get us started. We could always sell it and move, you know, somewhere else later, because we just felt Austin was a good area. It had some things going on that we were into, and yeah, we just didn't know where else to go, didn't know what else to do. Yeah, and then eventually we're just like, well, what are we doing in Texas? There's just things over and over again that just confirmed to us that was not like where we were meant to be for the long term. And so we're like, if we're not getting married, like, why do we keep dating? Like, let's just get out of here. Let's just at least go back to Idaho and regroup. And so we did. So we've been here in Idaho for the summer and did a lot more work on ourselves and a lot more healing in our relationship, which has been really awesome. And, you know, things are getting better. We're trying to figure out how to make money online. Trying to figure out how, you know, through our YouTube channel, our blog, and our email list, you know, we're trying to figure out how to make it work and still be authentic and still be ourselves and who we are and still be honest and have integrity with like what we're selling and what we're pitching, you know, because I just can't do it. I can't sell something that I don't believe in, and it's something that I haven't used, and so I will never do that. So anything that I talk about, anything that I promote, anything that I recommend to you guys, you know, that's my promise to you as an audience, as followers, as wildlings, you know, who are generous with their time to like share along on this journey. I guess that is enough information for now to catch you up with what has gone on. We have some plans to the future, but I don't really want to talk about them yet until they're solidified and they're actually happening. So that will maybe be the next video. If things come together, I'm working on some things that I really think I can make happen, and I'm really excited about that will enable us to travel. I will say we are going to be spending the next couple months helping some friends out and living on their property. So hopefully third time's a charm and things go well. Our long-term goal still is to buy land, to have a homestead, to have a community, to have a retreat center, somewhere we can bring people to help, like you, to help you, you know, work through your traumas, or help you heal physically, help you get reconnected with the land, and help you learn what it means to rewild and how to apply those things to your life. Go check out our blog. I just wrote an article about what rewilding is and what it means to me, and why it is one of our core values and philosophies behind Chasing the Wild Wonder. So go check that out at chasingthewildwonder.com. If you want to follow along with this crazy adventure that is our life, hit the subscribe button, because we'll be putting out more videos. Can't promise you that they'll be consistent or regular, but there will be a video at some point. There always is. It's just something that I do. I guess I can't, you know, you can't take the video. You could take the boy. I don't know. Sign up for our email list, because we're really going to be focusing more on the email list. That's writing an email is actually a lot easier than creating a whole video. It's a lot less time consuming, if you didn't know. So you'll get more and more updates and communications through the email if you are so interested, as well as probably some exclusive content. Yeah, that's it for now, and look forward to giving you the next update, and hopefully we'll have some progress. All right, everyone, have fun.
I'm coming for you, Emery!